Jimmy only had a quarter. Even so, he walked to the arcade. It was better than sitting around at home bored out of his mind. When he reached the arcade, he realized he was out of luck. All the cool games cost 50 cents or more. And then he noticed one shoved in the far corner. Galactic Zap. It looked pretty old, but right on the coin slot, he saw a big blue 25. He walked over to it, then hesitated, reluctant to make a bad decision.
Is this game any good?
He said out loud in the general direction of a cluster of kids.
Too hard.
A kid on the next machine said without looking over.
Nobody plays it anymore. I'm surprised they don't get rid of it. How hard?
Jimmy asked. He twirled the quarter around between his fingers. He loved hard games.
Ridiculously hard. Don't waste your money. I only seen one kid good at it, and he doesn't come around anymore.
The kid jerked his hand on the joystick and cursed. Then he stomped away. Jimmy realized he distracted the kid. He walked around the arcade twice, but nothing else was a quarter.
Probably a total waste,
he said. He dropped the coin into the slot. Then he pushed the start button. The get ready graphics scrolled on, then faded. To Jimmy's surprise, the graphics were pretty good for an old machine, and the game was more fun than he expected. It was basically a first-person shooter. He was flying a futuristic fighter ship, battling against a wave of alien attackers. The other kid was right. The game was hard, but Jimmy seemed to have a knack for it. He beat the first wave, and then the second. By the time he defeated the 7th wave, he hadn't even taken one hit.
Definitely my kind of game,
he thought. As he cleared wave 30 and waited for the bonus points to add up, he glanced around. The arcade was almost empty. He wondered whether the owner was going to make him leave before the game was finished. At wave 50, he heard someone walk up behind him. When he had a chance, he glanced over his shoulder. There was a guy there with a broom. "Are you closing?" Jimmy asked. "Yeah, but that's okay. I have to clean up the place and count the change. Keep playing. I understand." "Thanks." Jimmy kept playing. His arm started to hurt, but the game was so much fun, and he was good at it, that he didn't mind. Wave 75 came and went. The game grew harder with each round, but Jimmy got better. When he cleared wave 127, he was startled to see a game over message flash on the screen.
"Hey, why did it end?"
The man walked over to him. "That's as hard as it'll ever get. During the real invasion." Huh? Jimmy had no idea what he was talking about. "This isn't a game," the man said. "It's a simulator. We need to find kids who have what it takes to defeat the invasion of the Krellix."
"Is this real? It's the coolest thing that's ever happened to me,"
Jimmy thought. He pictured himself leading an army of gamers in a space war against the hideous enemy, but he was still pretty sure the guy was just playing around.
"You aren't serious,"
Jimmy said. "I sure am. The Krellix Armada is on its way. Let me show you." He went behind the counter and pressed a button. A three-dimensional image formed in front of Jimmy showing a scene from deep space. The man pressed other buttons, and the image zoomed toward a fleet of ships that looked just like the ones Jimmy had blown out of the sky in the game. "That's them?" he asked. The man nodded. "And that's who I'll be blowing out of the sky?" He figured the real thing would be 1,000 times better than the game. "Not exactly," the man said. He flipped a switch, and the image vanished. "What do you mean?" "That's who I can't let you blow out of the sky," the man said. "You're far too good. Your reflexes are perfect for battling us." As he walked toward Jimmy, his face seemed to flicker like it was a projection. For an instant, Jimmy saw the real face of the Krellix. Then the man put his hand on Jimmy's shoulder. Something stung him. "There are so many of you," the man said as the world around Jimmy started to grow fuzzy. "It's a good thing you're so easy to find. It's so easy to defeat. If your brains were as sharp as your reflexes, my people would be in trouble."